Hello, I'm Laura Painter with ABC 10 Tonight. We have your top news stories and weather. Coming up, 2 women were hit and killed while riding electric scooters in Sacramento in 2 different incidents, all in less than a week. We take a deeper look into scooter safety. Plus, a mountain lion spotted in a backyard in Auburn. We talk with a dad who jumped into action to keep his family safe. And we're in the middle of a weather impact alert. How long we can expect temperatures over 100 degrees to last. Tune in. You're watching ABC 10 Tonight. And a father of 3 in Auburn is sharing his up-close encounter with a mountain lion right in his own backyard. Brent Estes says he came upon the big cat Thursday morning after hearing noise outside. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live at the Auburn Police Department right now. Roxanne, a scary situation to say the least. How is the family doing right now?
It was, Laura. Brent Estes, his wife and children seemed quite shaken up today as they shared those moments in that encounter with the mountain lion. Now, they did share with us just how that mountain lion got into their gated backyard.
The cat came up the driveway. Looks like our gate had blown open in the night, and he let himself right in to the backyard.
Around 4:45 Thursday morning, Brent Estes heard noise in his back patio area. His home sits on a hill on Eagles Nest Road in Auburn. His family is used to hearing animals.
I just went out to go check the situation and walked out my door and pretty much came face to face with a mountain lion in the backyard. So, yeah, it was a little startling at first.
It stayed there for about 30 to 40 minutes. Estes says it's not unusual to see everything from bears to foxes to raccoons, but never a mountain lion. So they called Auburn police, who notified the California Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Nothing really unusual about that happening. That is prime habitat for mountain lions, kind of a mountainous area. It connects to a big, large mountain range.
My biggest concerns were just we have a lot of people that hike and run here in the area. My concern is that people would be out at that time, running around, walking around, and just wanted more awareness than anything. Again, we do live in the canyon. We do expect these animals to be around.
Steve Gonzalez says they often see people feeding wildlife, which may attract a mountain lion.
A lot of the times, well-meaning people do feed deer. They may feed raccoons or other animals that are wildlife, and that's just not a good idea. We always tell people, first, it's against the law. They could be cited. But 2, it's just not smart, because these are animals that mountain lion do feed on.
But Estes was not feeding wildlife, and his backyard is gated. So it was a surprise to see a lion so close to his back door.
We have pest control, we hide our trash, we have pretty secure fencing, but I guess if they want to get in, they're able to get in, and that's part of the risk of living on the canyon.
The California Department of Fish and Wildlife say that you should add sensor lights to your home because they usually can scare off some of those mountain lions. They also encourage you to bring in your pets at night. And if you plan on walking at dusk or dawn, you should walk in groups because that's when the lions are the most active. I'm live in Auburn. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Very useful advice, Roxanne. We are so glad to hear no one was hurt in this instance. Roxanne Elias, thank you. In just within a week, 2 different instances, 2 women were hit and killed while riding electric scooters in Sacramento. First, on August 29th, a 32-year-old woman died on Alhambra Boulevard in the middle of the day. The second happened Wednesday night on Franklin Boulevard. An 18-year-old woman died. Police are reminding everyone to be safe when riding or driving near e-scooters. ABC 10's Alicia Machado joins us in studio now with the latest. Alicia, such a tragic story. You learned more about one of the victims, right?
Yeah, Laura, a UC Davis first-year psychiatry resident was killed in one of the crashes. The director of her program tells me she brought out the best in people and wanted to help underserved communities with mental health.
A life taken too soon. 32-year-old Gio Sosa, known as Gio, killed while riding an e-scooter in East Sacramento just last week.
We're still a little bit in shock, to be completely honest.
A first-year psychiatry resident physician at UC Davis, she was 2 months into her residency. Gio moved from the East Coast to California for the program. A bright future ahead.
Her patients loved her, and I'm not at all surprised. And her supervisors loved working with her. They loved teaching her. She was a phenomenal doctor.
Residency program director Belinda Banstra recruited Gio into the residency program. She says Gio had a passion for psychiatry and uplifting underserved communities.
She just fostered, connection with people. And so I think those are the things that we remember her by.
Sadly, Gio is not the only life lost on the road over the past week. On Wednesday evening, an 18-year-old was hit while riding an e-scooter near Franklin and Cosumnes River Boulevard in Sacramento. Thursday, the Sacramento County Coroner's Office identifying her as Kaylee Xiong. Sacramento police hoping the community can take precautions to prevent more tragedies like these from happening in the future, encouraging both drivers and pedestrians to be mindful of what's around you.
Motorists, you are driving thousands of pound vehicles around, and you're sharing a roadway, literally sharing a roadway with scooters who might just have a helmet or nothing on at all.
The risk of death for pedestrians and scooter riders increases as the speed of drivers increases. The average risk of death for a pedestrian struck by a vehicle is 10% at an impact speed of 23 miles per hour. It jumps to 50% at 42 miles per hour, according to the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety. Sacramento PD reminding drivers and scooter riders to limit their speed and do what you can to remain visible.
And in both cases, police tell us the drivers stayed at the scene. Now, the UC Davis Department of Psychiatry organized a GoFundMe to help support Gio's family during this difficult time. We'll have a link up on our website, abc10.com.
A story well done reporting there, Alicia. Just a tragic, tragic loss in both instances, and our hearts go out to the victims' families. Alicia, thank you. We're learning more about the death of inmate Smiley Martin at the Sacramento County Jail. Martin was in jail, charged in the 2022 K Street mass shooting. The coroner says his official cause of death is a methadone overdose. ABC 10's Devin Truby went inside the Sacramento County Jail today, and she joins us now with the details. Devin.
Laura, that's right. I toured the areas where methadone treatment happens and learned how someone could even receive this drug while in the Sacramento County Jail.
One of the accused gunmen in the Sacramento's 2022 K Street mass shooting will not stand trial. In June, Smiley Martin died at the Sacramento County Jail from a methadone overdose, according to the coroner. Methadone is a medication used to treat opioid addiction. It's a treatment that's only been in use at the jail for the last 5 years.
It's all through adult correctional health. So again, they've got to be evaluated, and they're seen by medical staff, prescribed by a doctor. And then from there, they're issued that treatment.
Sacramento Sheriff's spokesperson Sergeant Amar Gandhi showed ABC 10 the male detox floor.
So this is the area where male detoxers are held.
According to the sheriff's office, Smiley Martin was found unconscious in his cell. Gandhi says an inmate does not have to be on the detox floor to receive methadone.
Something that they can take within their normal housing unit. But again, the administration of that medication is supposed to be a little more intensive because, again, it takes some time for that dissolving strip to dissolve. It's got to be observed by that medical staff, verified that it has in fact dissolved, and then they're returned back to that housing unit.
Sergeant Gandhi and Smiley Martin's public defender Norman Dawson could not confirm if Martin was in the detox program because of HIPAA rules. The sheriff's office says how Martin accessed the methadone is still under investigation. Methadone is a narcotic, and Sergeant Gandhi says there's a market for narcotics in the jail.
We have caught inmates that are, the slang term is cheeking pills and things like that. But I mean, there are measures in place. But again, these guys are creative, a market for it. So again, just to give you an example, any drug that you find on the street has a value in here over 10 times that street value.
Martin's former attorney tells ABC 10 he has been in contact with Martin's family, who has a lot of questions about how he died in custody.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says they are waiting for the investigation to be completed before releasing any more details. We reached out to the Correctional Health Services in charge of the jail, and they claimed HIPAA would not answer our questions. One of our questions included How do you prevent methadone toxicity? Laura.
Yeah, Devin, still a lot more to learn in this case, and we'll certainly be watching this investigation closely. Devin Truby, thank you for that update. The To The Point team recently investigated inmate deaths in Sacramento County, speaking to officials about what's going on. Watch their full investigation on ABC 10 Plus right now. Just look for the episode on the ABC 10 Plus home screen. The app is free on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV.
And the city of Dixon, they are known for their small town feel, but that all could be changing now. A developer is hoping to bring thousands of brand new homes to the area. And ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares with us the plans and how residents are feeling about all this.
Alex, residents tell me they're open to the idea, but also cautious. Now, if approved, these new homes will be developed over the course of the next few decades. But the developer tells me they're talking to residents now before getting too deep into the process.
Born and raised here, my dad had a dairy outside of Dixon.
A lifelong resident, Becky Jacobs is also a small business owner in Dixon and has seen many changes in her city over the course of her life.
The traffic is more congested. Everything is so much more busier than it ever used to be.
And the busy feeling may be there to stay, as a development company is hoping to add thousands of new homes and develop retail space.
We proposed that we would build up to about 6,000 units. That number is a fungible, squishy number, but that's a good target.
Calling it Harvest at Dixon and located just south of Dixon High School, the developers plan to space out the development to 300 homes a year over the course of 20 years. On top of housing, parks are in the plans and a way to incorporate the agricultural community.
So things like the norms of farmers market, but also urban farms, little community farm and garden opportunities, but also educational opportunities.
The idea is intriguing to Jill Orr, owner of Historic Dawson's.
It looks like it's going to be a really good project, but again, here we are. You know, everybody wants to have that small town feeling. We don't want to lose that.
As a lifelong resident as well, Orr has seen developers come and go and hopes this time will be different.
If you're going to say something, then you make sure that you hold to it, because I've seen too many of them walk away and not keep their promises.
So far, there have been 3 community meetings held by the developers to make sure residents stay informed. It's something the developers say is important to them before they even submit the application for the plans to the city.
We're not borrowing money. We're not looking for equity money. We don't have a bunch of partners that we have to answer to.
Leaving residents and business owners like Jacobs hoping it'll benefit everyone.
It'd be nice if we had more affordable housing, because by the time you pay all the extras, that is more than some people's house payments right now. So if they could do it that there's more affordability for everybody, I think it'd be great.
The city is waiting for the official application to be submitted. A city spokesperson says that once that happens, the project area will need to be annexed into the city and require an amendment to the city's general plan to change city limits.
Let's bring in Carly now. She's tracking weather impact alerts, and this means impacts on sports. And of course, we're still in fire season, Carly.
That's right. We're looking at a heat advisory in place that's causing extreme heat across the region. Triple-digit heat still continuing into tomorrow and tomorrow night. And we know Friday Night Football kicks off again tomorrow, our second week here, or third week, I should say. But we are looking at a lot of that heat. Triple digits continuing, and as we see kickoff, temperatures still in the upper 90s with that heat advisory still in effect until 8 p.m. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures anywhere from 100 to about 108. 108 mostly further north near Redding. Elevated fire concerns are expected as we continue to see that relative humidity dropping. We're looking at drier conditions across the region, which could cause fires to break out more easily and readily, as we're looking also at Sierra thunderstorm chances high up over that Sierra Crest. Strong wind gusts are expected to pick up as well. So even though we are seeing repopulation for certain areas like the Bear Fire, we are also looking at that potential to see thunderstorms and strong wind gusts. Now, the heat advisory again is in effect until 8 p.m. Friday, but we're seeing it span all the way north down to the Central Valley and the Grapevine, with excessive heat warnings in place into Southern California. Looking at our significant fire potential, you can see the red area here for lightning potential. That is where we could see the biggest fire outbreaks potentially happening for tomorrow, as we'll see some of the Sierra thunderstorm chances. Now, again, these chances are pretty limited. We're looking at about 10 to 15% chance, so it's not definitive, but still a chance in place. Meanwhile, everyone else looking at dry conditions across most of Northern California. Now, as we also expect to see as we move on toward the weekend here, we're going to get some dry conditions continuing, but it'll be a gradual change for us as we slowly see our temperatures dropping off and here's the zone we could potentially see, again, some of those thunderstorm chances as a high pressure system is in place right now and is keeping us dry. Any kind of moisture is out of the area, but we are looking at a low further north, and that'll start inching that trough a little closer to us from the Pacific Northwest into Northern California into our weekend, which means we'll see that gradual change in temperature dropping off from the upper 90s down into the mid to low 90s by Sunday and even into Monday. Looking at our winds into your Friday afternoon, here's where we're seeing some of those picking up over the Sierra Crest for us, 15 to 20 miles per hour. With the Delta breeze into the valley, and then Saturday gets a little bit stronger. So that's a little bit of a concern for us, especially around the Yosemite area and south of US 50. Again, a little bit north of Truckee as well, where the Bear Fire is. We are looking at a pickup in the wind. So hopefully we can at least contain that fire and have firefighters doing well on that fire as we continue on into Saturday. Looking into next week, we're mostly sunny, but we do have the slightest chance to maybe see some showers returning to the forecast by Wednesday. That is if that trough deepens enough into California to provide a little bit of those light showers or sprinkles for our area. Into the foothills tomorrow, anywhere from about 101 to 105 degrees in Ione. If you're headed toward the Bay Area for your Friday, low 70s to upper 70s from San Francisco to Oakland. 102 degrees up there in Fairfield and Vacaville. Look at 102 to 105 degrees into our valley spots, but Colusa. You could be getting closer there to about 107 degrees. Your 3-day forecast gradually dropping off into the low 90s by Sunday. And then mid 90s up to really those upper 80s as we start moving on toward next week. We're going to continue that trend of upper 80s, low 90s, puts us a little bit closer to average this time of year.
Wow, this is the summer that seems to not want to quit. How are the tea leaves looking? Are you thinking this might be the last batch of triple digits?
You know, we never know. It could go even as late as October to see triples.
Okay, I put you in the hot seat there. Carly, thank you. Hundreds of low-income and elderly families in Stanislaus County are at risk of losing important services. A local nonprofit is dealing with budget challenges threatening its future. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has a closer look.
Fresh fruits, vegetables, we take bread, we take some kind of protein, so like some kind of meat.
All being loaded up and bound for a church in Oakdale this afternoon where it will end up in the hands of...
Sometimes it's 20 to 40 families that come through. Sometimes it's more, it just varies.
A small crowd expected tonight compared to the nearly 1,400 households that the Food Initiative of Greater Stanislaus delivers groceries to each month.
We are actually able to reach about another 175,000 people per month through the 33 other organizations that we provide food to.
For almost 50 years, but now...
I'm standing here in horror and awe that I might not be able to feed the people that rely on us.
Not because of a lack of food.
We get hundreds of thousands of pounds of food donated per month.
But because money to pay these people, the organization's small but dedicated crew, is drying up.
Expenses increase and donations decrease. I've never before had donors calling and saying, I'm so sorry, I cannot continue my monthly recurring donation. And it's every other phone call.
As the phone lines ring, the bills pile up.
The insurance bill is coming up. You can't operate if you can't pay those. And right now, obviously, we are very much at risk of not being able to pay our staff and not being able to pay that bill by mid-September.
Just days away.
It's sad. I mean, it's hurtful.
The thought of possibly losing her job of 13 years.
I love when I see, a child come up and grab a carrot from the basket and then start eating it. It's certain things like that touches my heart.
But despite the grim outlook.
But I'm also really hopeful because I do also know this community. And I know that people want this to exist.
Now it's on the community to turn that want into donations.
We do a lot. We serve a lot of people, and a lot of people count on this. So please help out.
In Modesto, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
Gabriel, thank you. The organization says in the short term, it needs about $20,000 to stay in operation. If you'd like to help, they do allow donations through their website, foodinitiative.org.
Hello, I'm Matt George. Now, I know everyone is excited for opening night of the NFL tonight, but the Ravens and the Chiefs are just the opening act for our Northwest Exteriors High School Football Game of the Week, which features a first-time ever matchup.
They know of each other.
But Friday, the Roseville Tigers and West Park Panthers will meet for the first time ever on the football field. And while West Park may still be the new school in town, Roseville High's legacy means they want to be the best in the city.
So we want to beat these guys pretty bad. There's been some conversation between us and West Park, just talking back and forth. If we can beat them, which I think we will, we will definitely be the best team in the Roseville area.
Just to say that we own Roseville, that's the biggest thing for us. That's what we want to say, and that's what our goal is.
The Tigers may have the history, but the Panthers feel that all the advantages are on their side.
We got it all, man. We got all the talent, we got community, we got love, and we got home field advantage.
I'm looking forward to the atmosphere, having close to 5,000 people in the stands and just having a fun game.
Both the Panthers and Tigers are 2-0 to start the season. West Park head coach Jason Tenner says his team still has yet to play their best football.
We haven't played our best game yet. The most exciting thing is that we're still scratching the surface. We're waiting for that breakout game and for us to click in on all phases and all cylinders. Hopefully that's this Friday.
Safe to say the whole city of Roseville has looked forward to this matchup almost as much as the Tigers have wanted it.
I've wanted to play those guys for the last 2-3 years. We couldn't make it work the last cycle. They couldn't get us on their schedule. This time around, they were able to accommodate us. West Park by far is going to be the best team that we've played this year up to this point, maybe even all year.
And kickoff has been delayed a little bit. It's expected to be sometime around 7:15 to 7:30.
From the ocean, didn't end well. To the big screen to the small stage, a James Cameron classic is now a musical, Jordan Tolbert.
That is right, and you can see it if you go to the Lincoln Theater Company, and that is where we find ABC 10's Marcus Allen this morning. He is live with the cast and crew. Mark, looks like a lot is happening early this morning.
Yeah, a lot of rehearsal going on, and be warned that the lights aren't even hung yet, so this is going to look, you're seeing the sausage made, and it ain't always pretty. But when you see the show, it is amazing. It is Titanic. Cast and crew, say hi. Hey. It's not all of them, just the ones we coaxed out at 5 a.m. Can't get everybody here. They got to get the show ready in time. Okay, roll call.
Todd Aragon, co-director.
Peggy Schechter, co-director.
Carrie Litchford, music director.
Jared Albano, actor.
Carter Medlin, actor. By the way, this guy, his very first musical. Round of applause if you think he should keep that going. All right. So what I love about this, every character you see on stage, unlike the James Cameron movie, every character on this stage represented by a real person playing a real person in historical value.
That's correct. Stunning acts of heroism, but every character is real.
That's amazing. And no small feat. This is community theater, yet still that boat is going to sink in front of our very eyes.
That boat is going to sink.
And, you're part of this community now. This is the story behind the story. These three have known each other for over 40 years. They came over from the Bay Area. They were friends and performed there and decided to bring it here. Why?
This community needed a theater company, and we were asked to join a group, and we joined a group, and we're the ones that are left. So we just kept going and creating and creating.
Absolutely. Take a look at the theater. This is the Civic Center, and it's just an amazing space. As you journey inside, great gathering place, not a bad seat in the house. As you make your way inside, about 120 seats top, so everybody gets a good seat. And the music, this is a custom show.
That's right. The publishers actually created a special ensemble version. They cut the cast down from 40 to 21 and the orchestra from 25 down to 6.
That is awesome. I hear a little bit of an accent from you. You're from the South Bay.
Exactly.
All right. Can we break off a sample?
Great.
All right. In the last few seconds of this live broadcast, your first ever live performance from this, Titanic, the musical. Keep in mind, it's merely a rehearsal, so the lights aren't hung. It's going to look dazzling when you see it. Hit it! By the way, the actors aren't mics, so I'm just going to say back to you and come see the show.
I never imagined I would see Titanic, the musical, as a performance, but hey, why not? Looks good and it sounds good, and it's a beautiful theater in Lincoln. Marcus Allen, thank you. Here are the details on this. Titanic, the musical, will be running at the Lincoln Theater Company September 13th through the 29th. Where is that? It's 511 5th Street. We have a link to tickets, abc10.com/links.
Something fishy is going on in an alpine pond high above Donner Lake.
Well, there's a little mystery near Donner Summit. John Bartell here, making a little pit stop at the Chinese catfish pond.
Catfish are not typically found in the high Sierra, and especially not in elevations above 7,000 feet like the ones in this small pond near Donner Summit. Locals call it the Chinese Catfish Pond, and it's located just up the hill from Donner Ski Ranch next to Lake Angelo. The trail is short, just over a half mile, but it's rocky and steep.
If you need a little break, stop off at the tree swing. Whee!
The location of the catfish pond is not a secret, but how the catfish got to the pond is.
So there's a little mystery around this pond and how do these catfish get there?
How did the number one is probably the Chinese.
Historian Greg Zerbel says there's two theories behind the catfish pond. The first one involves Chinese laborers who built the Transcontinental Railroad back in the 1860s and 70s.
Where the Chinese spent like 16 months digging the longest and highest tunnel on the Transcontinental Railroad. And we have record that, right, fish were being planted all over the place here.
From here, you get a pretty good idea what some of those Chinese laborers were working on. Over here is China Wall. It's a 75-foot tall retaining wall, and it took 12,000 Chinese laborers to build.
Greg says the Chinese might have planted the fish in the pond for either food or entertainment, but there is another theory.
Right outside the western portal of the longest tunnel on the Transcontinental Railroad had the Summit Hotel there. And we have articles that mentioned that this hotel proprietor was up here planting the fish.
Just for recreation?
I think for food for the restaurant.
Regardless of who put the catfish in the alpine pond, it's pretty amazing that these little guys can survive the freezing temperatures during the winter.
They must have some pretty good blood running through their systems if they can stay defrosted like that.
From the Chinese Catfish Pond, I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thank you for trusting us with the news and for using the ABC 10 Plus app. Remember, you can always go deeper on the ABC 10 Plus app. Watch all our news wherever, whenever. Also, catch all of our shows, including Take a Look, where Marcus Allen breaks down what to watch, and find California travel destinations with Bartell's Backroads.
Only on ABC 10.
90% of these dudes are coming home. They're getting out.
San Quentin, one of the most notorious prisons, is taking the lead on new approaches to rehabilitation.
We get guys on a daily basis that have been in prison 30 to 40 years that break down by just getting a chance to pet a dog.
Are communities safer because of it?
We can still have a security mindset, but still treat people like people.
Go inside San Quentin after Monday Night Football, only on ABC 10.